Hello all my YouTube people, goemonronin coming back at you again. I can't help but notice the popularity of top 10 lists on YouTube, and I just realized I haven't done one, I don't think ever, so I'm going to go ahead and do one today, and these are the top 10, based on my work searching lately. I'm going to say these are the top 10 things that I wish that I'd known when I was younger and first started working. I just came up with 10 things. These are in no particular order. They're not in any particular order. I'm going to try and do this all in one video, so I'm going to try and shoot through these pretty quick. Number 10, education. And how to go about that, really. I always thought that I'd end up going to college and getting some 4-year degree in basket weaving, but it turns out that that hasn't actually turned out to be what most people have wound up getting jobs in. It's become a lot more popular to do some type of tech training and start making, 50 to 70 grand a year right upon graduation. Even certifications starting to outweigh a 4-year bachelor's degree in a lot of cases. I'm not trying to, poo-poo the idea of getting a 4-year degree or more. A lot of you people that have those are doing really well out there. The other side of that coin is I think that you need more than a GED or nothing. Those will get you somewhere, but for the most part, I think I wish I'd worked a little bit harder on completing my education before funding ran out. Number 9, wants versus needs. You can work a lot more comfortably if you weigh the things you want against the things that you actually need. If you live more minimally, you don't have to fill your life with a lot of overtime and missed opportunities with family and friends. The cheaper you're willing to live, the smaller house you're willing to have, the less you're willing to fill that house with stuff, the better off time-wise you will be, and you will run into jobs that will monopolize your personal time really, really badly. I never thought we'd live in a world of mandatory overtime, but it does exist. I have worked at jobs that have that. The other thing is work ethic. Number 8, work ethic. A good work ethic can be really important. Don't ever try and think that you're worth more than anyone else you work with, for the most part. That's not for you to decide. That's for your superiors to decide. Go to work, do your work, go home for the day, do the best job you can, get up and do that as many days a week as your company requires it. If you're not comfortable doing it the number of days and hours that your company requires it, it might be time to move on to something part-time or a job that will require a little bit less of you. All of that is fair. Which is where number 7 can come in, burnout. There are several ways that you could get burnt out on the job. I tend to last 3 or 4 years doing the same thing, and then I need to move on. As I've gotten older, that time frame is starting to shrink, but for the most part I can handle doing something for a few years. And then I like to move around within the company or move on to something else. Burnout is completely normal. I look at these people who've worked for a company for 25, 30 years and I'm not exactly sure how they do it. That's sort of beyond me. You might have to be the right type of personality or something like that. My personality just doesn't handle it well. I tend to get burnt out very quickly. Burnout can also lead to sloppy work and potentially injury, depending on the type of thing you work in. If you have, and there are a lot of people out there. I worked with a guy at Walmart who had 140 hours of vacation time saved up, and it was going to get to where they weren't going to roll that over anymore. And I'm thinking, like, you have 140 hours of vacation time. Why don't you take it? And that came back to that guy's work ethic. He felt that it was wrong of him to take his vacation, and you can't have that idea in your head. That vacation time has been provided to you by the company. You've earned it, and take your vacation when you need to. Again, with a lot of companies, it doesn't roll over, and it's not like they pay you for it when you quit. So if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Number 6, not everyone's business savvy. A lot of you guys out there probably think you have a great idea for a business, and you might. I guarantee someone else has already thought of it. There are very few original business ideas lately, and it's gotten to the point where people are doing things just as cheaply as they probably can while paying the ridiculous 31% on their earnings. Now, again, there are going to be exceptions to this, but don't get out of college or whatever education you're doing and think that you're going to start a business and be successful with it right away. Businesses often take time to build up, so some type of rudimentary income needs to be attained first. And if business doesn't turn out to be your thing, stop wasting your time, effort, and additional money on it, and be a working person like everybody else, well, most other people. Number 5. This was an aspect that I learned when I was working for Dish Network. They had a saying called "dump the junk." This is very difficult to do. The idea is that when you go into your working environment, anything that's going on for you outside of work, you leave it out there. And that is actually very good advice for you to be productive in your work efforts. Your personal life can really get into your work life and kind of screw it up. The primary reason that I got into that altercation at the package handler job was because I was stressed out with things going on in my personal life. And if I had been better at this aspect, I think I probably would not have had a hiccup in employment right there. Number 4, I'm going to quote Star Trek here, or Spock, more accurately. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. All right. If you're a single guy, and you have your living squared away pretty cheaply, you can live however you want. The minute you add a significant other that's live-in and pets to that scenario, perhaps even children, or you take on a niece or a nephew that's going to live with you, anything like that, whenever the ante's upped, your needs need to take a back seat to the needs of your family. That includes you at one point. It's also on them to realize that they may have to do without luxuries, depending on the situation. Number 3, politics. Jobs carry politics just like anything else, especially when you put things like unions into the scenario. It can be really difficult to get the workplace politics down and deal with them. These types of things can burn you out pretty fast. Especially don't expect to have your way when you immediately start at a company. Those things are generally kind of earned, and you kind of have to step around the issues until you've earned a spot over someone else, which would most likely be the next person coming into the equation. Number two, taxes. Taxes suck. I think that taxes are essentially theft. I've done the work. The government, in my mind, hasn't done anything to earn that money from me from where I sit. If the road that I have to drive down to work on every day is still a mess, then my taxes aren't going to where I need them to go. I'm perfectly aware of the effects of marijuana on the human body. I don't think we need any more research done into that, and I don't want to put my tax money into it anymore. What I really had a big problem understanding when I was younger about taxes was that you pay taxes on top of taxes. You know, you're going to pay taxes on your retirement that you've already paid taxes on and such. And you know, I do not like that. That is a very difficult thing to accept. That, you know, 21 or ish, 20% of your money is disappearing every check, and you may not ever qualify for the Medicare tax that you're paying. I mean, I'm 41 here. I have fairly bad early onset arthritis. I could use Medicaid or Medicare to really help me out with a few things, and I do not qualify for it, despite that I've been paying into the system for 22 years. That system is not fair. The sooner that you sort of accept that and kind of move on, the easier things are going to be. Definitely don't go having a bunch of kids and stuff like that just to get a better return at the end of the year, because that kind of thing can backfire pretty quickly. Number one, and our last reason for the video, the physical cost on you. I've explained my situations working manual labor lately, and as well as the mental cost. There's a physical and mental cost for doing any job that you're going to wind up doing. That isn't always easy. If you're in customer service, you're probably paying a much higher mental cost than a physical labor cost. I can guarantee you leave a call center job mentally exhausted every day and fed up that you've had to let people call you an idiot all day. If you work at a grocery store as a stocker, you're going to be carrying around really heavy boxes. You're going to be stooping and putting stuff on all kinds of levels of shelving all day, putting stuff in bins, and you're going to have supervisors screaming at you all day to get on to your next department, even though you should only have one or two to do. There's a cost for any labor you do, and it's up to you really to decide whether what you're making is worth that. If you can't find another job, you might be pretty stuck. But if what you're making is not worth that to you, then again, it might be time to change careers. It does make sense after doing physical labor for a long time to go into some type of customer service or clerical related work to take a break from that. A lot of people end up moving back or going vice versa, like I did. I went manual labor, then I went customer service, then manual labor, and now I'm trying to get back into customer service, mainly because of this physical cost. Anyway, that's 10 things that I wish I'd known before I started working as a younger person. As they say, hindsight's 20/20. I hope somebody out there is going to get something from this video and manage to do it in one video. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Goemonronin, signing out.